Yeah, before we go there, though, tell us a little bit about MMTA. That's easier because I keep trying to say the name, but I think we should. It is the Multicultural Media and Correspondence Association, so I think people need to know that. But why was this organization started?
Sure. So a little bit of us, we're a growing army, I would say, of diverse Black media stakeholders, advocates, and influencers. And what brings us together, we are resolved to secure the power that comes from owning content and distribution and controlling how our story is told. It is so important, and we think this is one of the really big problems that doesn't get enough attention. Who owns the story controls reality, the social fabric, and also who wins and loses. And if you look at the stats, for instance, you, Denise, you're a unicorn. You're one of a few. We have so few media outlets that are owned by women and BIPOC individuals. We still see the same issues around bias in news coverage. We still have the challenges of diversity in the mainstream media. We see that not only are we having this sort of impact on diverse media, but it's also having negative impact on the communities. It's impacting civic engagement. And worst of all, I believe, as someone who has a young Black son, not seeing positive images and positively framed story is having negative implications on not us, but also the next generation. So we were just resolved to come together and to sort of use our collective influence so that we can have greater say over who, what, where, when, and how our story is told.
You know, over the past 2 years, one of the observations that those of us in Black-owned media have observed is one, the storytelling seems to be changing because there's a thanks, if I can say thanks, or due to George Floyd, Breonna, some of the justice issues, criminal justice issues, or justice issues. Media now, there's the spotlight. And so it seems as though there is an effort to begin to diversify newsrooms that were diversified, then became predominantly white again because of all the layoffs. And now they're trying to bring folks back in. But the storytelling seems to be a little different now. It does seem to be more diverse. It may be just my imagination, but then you've got, there was just the recent announcement of a new, I think, a publication that's coming out, The Emancipator. You know, there are different, what we would call white-owned media institutions that are coming out with Black-focused programming, publications. What do you say to that? How should we respond to that?
So I think the first thing I would say, there definitely have been some improvements. I think with regards to, because of the sort of proliferation of streaming, and we've seen a lot of different outlets pay attention, as you correctly highlighted, to more diverse content. But where I think the story, a lot of work needs to go is around the issues we focus on is around ownership. Because at the end of the day, who's making the editorial decision, who owns these media companies are really incredibly important. And I would think if you talk to a lot of, the reporters and people at the mainstream media, there is clearly still a reckoning racial and women reckoning that the media industry is actually seeing. And one area, and I'm sure you're acutely aware of this, because of the sort of the internet and things that are going around advertising, switching to the big media companies, a lot of local and diverse media is struggling to have a business model that's sustainable. So I think these issues are still incredibly important, and that's why it's really important for the public, for the business community, and policymakers to understand this issue and to take proactive steps to address it before it's too late.
Well, when you say ownership, that's music to my ears. And when you say a sustainable business model, I'm sure that's what just about every Black-owned media organization, I know Black newspapers have been dealing with this entire year, trying to sort of transition their business model. Not that the one we had before was all that great, because the advertising dollars are coming from institutions that don't value who we are and what we promote. Not generally speaking, that's the case. We do have some that are specific, but I'm glad you are talking about media owners. I'm excited about this program that you're coming up with women media owners. Tell us what you have planned.
Yeah, so I'm so excited. There are 5 pillars to what MMCA, our strategy. We're very much so, as you know, focused around coalition building, because we believe by coming together that we will have a stronger voice and have more influence in the decision-making process. So that's really important. Second, we're also very much so focused on advocacy, both generally and on Capitol Hill. And we are super proud of the relationships that we've established with members of Congress, and particularly their sort of renewed interest and legislative activity around solutions on media diversity. As you know, Congresswoman Demings and Senator Rosen has authored a bipartisan resolution to reaffirm Congress's commitment to media diversity and to really bring together stakeholders around common ground solutions. So we think that's incredible, and we focus a lot on making sure that is sustainable. In addition, we have a petition where we're asking, as part of the change in the business model we talked about, we would think that Congress should provide incentives for corporate America to do business with local and diverse media in the form of advertising credits, as well as around subscription credits, so that more folks can go out and get subscriptions to the Washington Informer and other newspaper. We also think it's important around constructive engagement. We think it's really important that the media companies are sort of having discussions on how they could better work with and expand diversity among mainstream media, as well as how they work better with diverse media. The 4th pillar is around stakeholder assistance. You mentioned the business model issues. As you know, we're always trying to find advertisers to go and do business with our local papers, but we've done something really interesting, Denise, and I want people to hear more about. We have actually looked directly at this business model problem, and we have launched an incubator that's going to test revenue strategies. We've brought on the Innovation Media Consulting Group. We've launched a project with a fellow outlet as yours called Elevate Dayton in Dayton, Ohio. And we are really going to lean in on actually solving what we see the problem, that we believe there's a solution, and we're going to find it. The last one, which leads me into this event, we think it's incredibly important to celebrate multicultural media excellence, especially the unsung heroes in the industry that are leading the fight. As you know, this is such a big issue, but there are organizations that, you know them well, the acronym, the NABJs, the NAHJs, but these are organizations that have been fighting for this issue for so long, and really not getting the fanfare and the support that I absolutely believe their need. But what's unique about it in this incredible moment in time in Women's Month, these organizations are all helmed by powerful, resilient, selfless women. And
why am I not surprised?
And well, I guess I came to it late, and I said, "Oh my goodness, here we have all these great organizations headed by amazing women. Why don't we bring them together? One, to honor them and celebrate their excellence, but also to use it as an opportunity to highlight the issue and the need for increased support around diversity." So that's what we're going to do. We are excited. It's on March 31st. It's our inaugural She Rose in Media Awards Gala, because we don't think we should do this once. We think we should do this every year. Our first slate of honorees, we have, and I'll go through them because they're all so powerful. We have Julie Burton.
You can do so quickly. Go ahead.
Who's the president of the Women's Media Center. We have Heather Cohen, who is the chair of the Alliance for Women in Media and Foundation. We have Francine Compton, who's the president of the Native American Journalists Association. We have Nora Lopez, who's the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. We have Lisa Matthews, who's the 114th president of the National Press Club, which is just so amazing. And finally, we is the president of the National Association of Black Journalists. We have Richard Louis and Alicia Menendez.
David, can you say the NABJ president, because we lost you for a second, so I want to make sure we give her a shout out as well.
Please give a shout out to Miss Dorothy Tucker, the president of the National Association of Black Journalists, who's doing an outstanding job, as we see her in the news all the time. The event is hosted by Alicia Menendez, Richard Louis, both MSNBC anchors and prolific authors. So they have really great books out now that, for instance, Alicia's book, The Likability Trap, is doing phenomenally well. Richard's book just released. The Enough About Me, The Unexpected Power of Selflessness. And in typical MMCA fashion, we are bringing comedic talent. So we will have the amazing Gina Berlin, who, you know, just did an amazing Amazon One House special to give us performance. So, and
how can people watch this?
We're super excited about it.
How can people see this?
And please, hopefully you can put the link in the chat, but there is a link. It will be live streamed on our Facebook and our Twitter channel. And if you can go to our website, which is at www.mmcadc.org, or on our social media, we will definitely be promoting, and we would love and ask everyone to tune in and support MMCA and support our mission and support these amazing organizations and inspirational leaders.
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's great, particularly to what I've been calling are the hidden figures of the media. And those are the Black women who lead Black-owned institutions, and I'll say Black-owned institutions and Black-owned nonprofit organizations, media organizations. And so I'm glad you're doing this, and it should be a great program. I look forward to seeing it myself and trying to figure out who your lineup for your next, because you do other programs besides this, right? I mean, you ran a list, but I know that every year you honor people in the media, and it's been a great event at the National Press Club. So, hey, keep up the great work.
And thank you. And we will be back. Last year we did it virtually. We'll be doing it virtually again. But, we also do a really powerful solution series where we bring together stakeholders. We're all about sort of leaning in. We're resolved to address this problem, and we will continue to be the fight. So we ask that please reach out, support us, go to MMCA DC, find out more about us, and become a part of our army.
Wonderful. Will do. And thank you very much. I know you have to get ready for the 31st. So we will see you then. And thanks a lot for being with us.
Thank you, Denise, for all you do. I really appreciate you.
All righty, David. Take care.